Can the Eagles offense do just enough? Because that's all they have to do is just enough to win. Because there's no turning a switch on in football. We're going to obviously talk a lot of Eagles offense, breaking NFL coaching news. Philadelphia 76ers back on the court tonight. And the Phillies? Is JT Realmuto ever going to sign here? Huge Flyers win last night. Trending in the AM. We're going 4 for 4 today. Live with your thoughts and opinions in 30 seconds. And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on the STT Sports Network, which stands for Setting the Trends for what sports talk in Philadelphia should be. Please, wherever you're watching, whether you're live or on replay, please hit the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. We are 45 away from 1,000, and share this out to all your social media platforms. Greatly appreciate it. It's free to do. It is free to support a local content creator with clicks like that. It goes a long way. Please, please, please. I greatly, greatly appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, and vote if you're watching live on our poll question today. Are you really concerned that the Eagles could lose Sunday just because of Kevin Patullo? Yes or no? I hope no wins this, but, you know, we'll see how the show goes, guys. I'm Phil Stiefel. We've already got lots of comments to dive into. I'm going to get right into them in a second, but we are talking the Eagles offense today. And as we get set for this playoff game against the 49ers on Sunday afternoon, there's a lot of talk, obviously, that Kevin Patullo has struggled, and he has rightly. But there's a lot of talk that they could just flip a switch and be back to an elite dominating offense. I'm here to tell you there is no switch being flipped. The offense is what it is. It's going to be and continue to be what it was the entire season. And for better or worse, that's okay. We can win with the inconsistent offense because of our elite defense. So I am not as concerned. Obviously, we're also throughout the show, we're going to sprinkle in some Phillies, JT Realmuto talk, some Sixers back on the court tonight against Washington and the Flyers, and Trevor Zegras, big win last night. So it's all on the table. Want to fire off into the comments right away today. Unless the theory of Sirianni and Eagles have been slow rolling the NFL is true, Patullo has not shown the ability to adjust play calling in-game. Play calling logic has been shown to be lacking. And yes, I'm just going to say right away, there is the Eagles have been slow rolling. They haven't. There's no switch being flipped that all of a sudden he's got a secret playbook like some people are saying. The offense is what they are. And how bad really is the offense? Jalen Hurts, career high in touchdown passes to go along with all his rushing touchdowns. Saquon Barkley, almost 1,150 rushing yards. 2,000-yard wide receivers. Dallas Goedert, 11 receiving touchdowns as a tight end. How bad is it really? Just going to throw that out there. Patullo also is arrogant for a guy who only has one full game where he called a full 4 quarters of offense, and it was against the Raiders. Yeah, look, Kevin Patullo, is it arrogance? Is it cockiness? I don't know. He does carry himself with a certain air about him, like he's already succeeded as an OC and has since day one. Some might like that, some may not, but I can definitely see where some people feel maybe he's a little too arrogant and he needs a reality check. And maybe if he gets fired after the season, that's his reality check as a coach. I don't know. But I do understand why you feel that way. Because when Vic Fangio talks, he's got 40 years of success as a coach to back him up. Kevin Patullo's done nothing as an OC. So I get that. That buddy is getting a glow up due to the excellent work done by Uncle Vic. Look, Uncle Vic and the Eagles defense is carrying this team. No doubt about it. On to more shocking news now that, Baltimore Ravens, breaking news, did fire John Harbaugh after 18 seasons yesterday afternoon. Not surprised. I figured whoever lost that game on Sunday night, the Ravens Steelers, the losing team, would fire their coach. Not shocking, but also shocking at the same time, because making a decision to fire somebody like John Harbaugh cannot be easy. Almost 180 wins, 300 games coached, a Super Bowl victory. Let's be honest, the guy's had like 3 or 4 wins in the playoffs in his last 12 years. The guy's been pretty mediocre down there in Baltimore. So while shocking, it's also not shocking and probably was time a year or two ago. Good morning, Davey. How you doing? 4 more games. 4 more football games. That's right. Good morning, Robert. Good to see you this morning. Good morning, Duck. Absolutely. Can I get a family-sized sausage, peppers, and mushrooms? Unfortunately, you cannot. Out of the business now. Retired. You tell me Kellen Moore couldn't wait that extra year for the better position. It would have been nice, right? And honestly, I was saying it before, Noobs. If you look at all the coaches being interviewed before the Baltimore job opened up, they're all retreads and guys you hadn't heard of. No elite candidates were lining up to take some of these jobs that are available this year. Now Baltimore is a fairly attractive job position now. I think Moore would have killed it in the Ravens head coaching position, obviously. Lamar Jackson, similar to Jalen Hurts. I think that would have been a good match. But he seems to be having and finding some late success this year in New Orleans, and maybe they're turning the tides there. Of course, I'm concerned about Kevin Patullo. Been worried all season, not going to stop now. But the point is that they can still win, Davey, with Kevin Patullo's inconsistency. I mean, at one point, I know we finished the season 11-6. I know we lost, a bunch of games later in the season. But Kevin Patullo still was a part of this team going 8-2 through a juggernaut start of a season. No complete games, I get it. But the question is, can he do enough just to get us over the hump? The defense does their thing, dominates, holds every team under 20 points. Can he do enough? And I think he can. Kellen Moore would have had so much better shot at a better experience this year. Instead, he's probably out next year. I have very little faith in the Saints. Well, I do too, but some people are saying maybe. I don't know. Get that off the screen. No one wants Fairway. Unfortunately, Fairway Evan back Tuesday, 6 p.m. Already set up for it. Ready to rock and roll. Didn't they have complete games against the Giants in Minnesota as well? Look, I don't. The Vikings game, by the way, to me is a very underrated game for the Eagles offense and the Eagles team in general. By the way, they are more than capable of doing just enough on offense. I coined Uncle Vic. Did you coin it? I mean, I'm pretty sure people were calling him Uncle Vic a while ago, but maybe you did. I don't know. Give me context on that. Good morning, Elephant in the room. MM, whatever. I need something easier to call you. I know most of these people's first names. The Eagles going to be complete idiot if they don't attack the middle of the field with all the injuries. Look, they are so desperate, the 49ers, that they went out and had to sign Kazir White, former Eagles linebacker, who hasn't played the entire season, to their roster. It's going to be Eric Kendricks and Kazir White out there on Sunday. Eagles got to run the ball. Probably the best defensive front seven is Bryce Huff, former Eagle. Did you know? I think it might have been K1 came up with Uncle Vic and the nephews. Yeah, I don't know. What's up, Keith? Been a bit. It's results-based business. Harbaugh wasn't getting it done. See, the thing is, though, Keith, John Harbaugh wasn't getting it done for a while, right? John Harbaugh wasn't getting it done for a decade in Baltimore, arguably wasting Lamar Jackson's career. So while it's not an Eagles topic, and I don't know every little detail that goes on with the Ravens organization, the Ravens are one of those teams. What's he, the third coach in the team history? It takes guts to move on from somebody that's been leading your franchise for 18 years. And I'm glad they did, because I think it's the right decision on a football standpoint. but he wasn't getting results 4 years ago and they didn't do it. 3 years ago and they didn't do it. 2 years and they didn't. You have Lamar Jackson, arguably one of the best quarterbacks in football, and he hasn't gotten to a Super Bowl yet. Eagles will win on Sunday. It's Sunday, not Saturday, by the way. But yeah, it's I just don't want you to be sitting in front of the TV like, where's the Eagles game? It's Sunday night, 4:30. I'll be live here on the channel. But they will win. Tomorrow, college football playoffs. Don't care at all. Surprise, yeah. And I'm sure, Bucks, you want your coach fired as well. And maybe it happens. Not everybody gets fired on Black Monday. Some teams take an extra couple days to make those decisions after the season ends. Kellen Moore probably should have waited, but I understand. Yeah, I mean, look, there's the argument we say we want him to wait so he was with us another year. The Saints' job stunk, but there's only 32 head coaching opportunities in the NFL. And when one is presented to you and you think you've got an ounce of a chance to fix it, you take the opportunity. And that's something that somebody told me a while ago, that while the jobs don't all sound great or look great, that normally coaches have to do what they got to do because there's only so many chances that they have. So they want those opportunities. They want to get those opportunities as best as they can. Sorry, I was trying to do something on my phone here. It wasn't working. It was saying we weren't live, but we clearly are live. Just making sure we're clearly live online there. Still no Bucks fired yet. Look, Bowles he may not get fired, but good morning to you as well. I first called Uncle Vic 14 months ago. If K1 started using Uncle Vic before that, I guess he did. I was calling him Uncle Vic at the start of his career with the Eagles, but because somebody was doing it on the show. Eagles will win Sunday, no doubt about it. There'd be a lot of teams that would sign Harbaugh this second if they could. Look, I'm shocked that Harbaugh's ready to dive right in. Big issue would be him taking over the Giants position, obviously. But outside of that, I mean, what job does he really want? Does he really want to go to Cleveland? Does he really want to go to Arizona? Probably not. If I was John Harbaugh, 18 years in Baltimore, I would take a year off and just chill out and look at my options. The fact that Lamar did support him didn't help his case. Lamar did support him, right? Yeah. It was a very weird thing there going on. Lamar is like Allen first, Mitchell. Lamar, I think the deal was that the ownership wanted him to fire the offensive coordinator, and he did not want to. So he kind of pulled a Doug Peterson and maybe a Nick Sirianni in that situation. Kellen Moore thinks he's got a quarterback. We'll see. The Ben Van Summer and Johnny Wilson injuries might have been a bigger loss to the offense than we realize as far as scheming and blocking goes. Kevin, great comment. Obviously, Cam Latou has not been utilized as much as we hoped in replacement of BVS. Ben Van Summer was the first official fullback listed on our roster coming into training camp in ages. First time we were having a real fullback, and he goes down. Now, Cam Latou has done okay in his opportunities. We don't know what the offense would have looked like with Ben Van Summer. And Johnny Wilson, blocking wide receiver. Darius Cooper hasn't been bad. Maybe we've missed that a little bit. I don't know. Maybe it affected the scheming and blocking. Maybe you can use the Ben Van Summer and Johnny Wilson excuse for the first couple of weeks. But we were 4-0 to start the year. So the loss of two players was harder later in the year than at the beginning of the year when you first lose them. So I don't buy that, but I get the point, and I do understand what you're saying there. Ole Miss versus Miami, a lot of hype for Miami. I don't know. Having Lamar doesn't guarantee a chip, but Harbs made coaching decisions that contributed to the losses. That's what I'm reading up about it. Absolutely, Keith. Anyone taking the Giants job? Look, the Giants job is 50-50 attractive and a dead zone. On one hand, you've got Malik Neighbors and Cam Scatterboo coming back, two young weapons, maybe something with Jackson Dart to mold. On the other hand, you got Joe Schoen, their GM, who's got naked pictures of the owner, it seems like. Because the guy can't get fired no matter what. Like, I wouldn't want to work under that GM. So it's a pretty ugly job, honestly, in my opinion. Right now, the best gig for John Harbaugh, if he had to take a gig right now, would the Falcons be the best gig for him? Maybe. I don't know. I don't think there's a good gig in Philly, period. What's up, Philly? How you doing? If someone had a gun to your head right now and you had to win, what player prop would you pick for this upcoming Eagles game? Well, I haven't looked at the odds numbers, but if I was just picking a prop in general for the game, player prop, because right now I think the best bet would be to take 2.5 over on touchdowns scored by the Eagles in the game. I would go some kind of parlay of Saquon 80-plus yards and a touchdown. I think Saquon will have a heavy usage game. We won't know if Lane Johnson will be back till at least today when see if they practice. Vic Fangio said Nakobe Dean will be back. But then Nick Sirianni said that Lane Johnson has to still step onto the practice field and show what he's capable of. So we really don't know what the Eagles offense will look like and how they'll attack till we know whether Lane Johnson will be on the field or not. I expect Lane Johnson to be there, but will he be? We won't know till at least later today. I take Kingsbury as an OC in a heartbeat. Sucks as head coach, but solid OC. I think, Steven, good morning to you, soldier. Steven Fuentes. I think Kingsbury will get another head coaching opportunity this year. I do not think he will be an OC. And if you want, if you're tired of no motion, if you're tired of shotgun formations and the predictability, that's Cliff Kingsbury. Like, Cliff Kingsbury isn't going to have Jalen Hurts under center doing play action pass, which is what we want him to do. So I don't know if Kingsbury is the right option here in Philly anyway. All right. But and even if he came to Philly, he'd be a one and done anyway. So Kingsbury, I want nothing to do in Philly. But anyway, I think he will be a head coach in 2026. What do the Falcons have? I mean, they have Bijan Robinson. They have Drake London. But you got Michael Penix, like a real unknown there. Kirk Cousins. We kind of, sort of, whatever know about him. But that's it. The Panthers can't come to the phone. They get ready to host a playoff game. About time, right? I'd bet Harbaugh to New York, which I don't want. Like, I don't want to see it, but I don't know. I mean, John Harbaugh, even though he's only won one Super Bowl, and good morning to you, Jim, even though he's only won one Super Bowl, has a track record, and he has this pedigree to him. Like, he's an alpha male, okay? Is he going to listen? Is he going to work under Joe Schoen, who's going to trade away your best players at every opportunity or let them go like Saquon? Best gig, could Raiders or Falcons? I don't think the Raiders are a great gig. Geno's a good, solid, transition quarterback. Max Crosby's going to be gone. So you got Brock Bowers. Nothing to build around. I would put the Falcons ahead of the Raiders in that situation. Weakest Eagles since I discovered this fine program. Well, we've been doing this program a lot longer than that. We've had some bad seasons. Ben Van Summer and Johnny Wilson have been out for most of the season. Sirianni and Nepo Buddy. Yeah, exactly. I can't blame that. I could have blamed that for week 1, week 2, Duck. Could not blame that now at this point. Offense be stale, 100%. Harbaugh to the Giants feels like a lock. And look, in theory, it could work out really great for the Giants. And I'd be very upset as an Eagles fan if John Harbaugh went to the Giants. But I can't say that I think it will work out for them because of that GM. Unless they decide late to fire the GM and give Harbaugh complete control, which I don't think he wants that. I was looking forward to Ben Van Summer playing a more Trey Burton role in this offense. We'll never know. We won't. At least we won't know till next year. Yeah, you didn't have to live through those Kotite years. Good for him, exactly. Like, I honestly don't know how to say his name. Schwing. I don't know. All right? Good enough for me. Man, I'm far behind on comments. Yesterday I fell 7 minutes behind. I'm only 5 minutes behind on comments today. Wouldn't want to work in a division that the Eagles are in. That is also very accurate. Gruden will not coach. Philip Rivers is getting some love as a head coach after his return to the football field. So that's interesting. It's not about the players with the Giants. It's about their overvaluing of head coaching stability in an era of high turnover. Players. It's not about the players. Overvalue. I think it's their overvaluing of their GM as well. I'm a big fan of Eagles. Good morning, Little G. How you doing? Where think best coaching gig at that's open right now? If it wasn't for the GM, it would be the Giants. But right now, out of these coaching openings, I guess the Falcons. None of them are exciting. Maybe the Browns. You got two young quarterbacks, young draft picks, and you got Myles Garrett, who won't leave. Maybe the Browns are the best coaching spot. You got a good cornerback there. Well, there aren't many good head coach right now other than the one left. Giants have young players to mold, but not a good organization. Browns are a crap organization, but who don't have any money. Kind of feel like maybe the Browns are the best opening. It's a playoff game. He's definitely playing. Lane Johnson, yeah, exactly. The thing is, they were so adamant, yes, Nakobe Dean is playing. They weren't, yes, Lane Johnson is playing. So it leaves that 1% doubt that maybe not. What does John Harbaugh do well? He's not really an offensive or defensive mind, right? I think he was a special teams coach before he got that gig. But he led the org. He's the prototypical Nick Sirianni, Dan Campbell, which I love Dan Campbell say he'd give himself an F for the way he coached the Lions this year. Great self accounting there. He's one of the original GM or CEO head coaches. Raiders are a crappy organization. They're all crappy organizations. That's why they're constantly in the coaching cycles, right? Atlanta have a horrible front office who make really bad decisions on players. Yeah, and you got an owner that's way too involved. I laugh. Cowboys never good, but Cowboys fired Matt Eberflus, their defense coordinator. Commanders fired both Kingsbury and their defensive coordinator. Brady and other guy looking for coach. Harbaugh is a defensive guy, but his special teams and ability to get the right personnel for that gets the press. We need to get Barkley or linebacker A's a wide receiver. We need to get Barkley on linebacker as a wide receiver. Gotcha. Well, yeah. Barkley on a cold Kazir White who has not played football since 2024. I mean, it seems like a mismatch that you got to make, right? So you're not nearly as nervous as you should be. Why am I nervous? I'm not nervous about nothing. Any coach for the Giants will not succeed with that management. Can't blame Dable. Look, exactly. Like Dable should have gotten fired. Dable made bad decisions, whatever. But you know what? It was better off getting fired, Adam, and good morning to you. Really looking forward to that new podcast coming out in 5 weeks, right? You too, right? If Bucks fire Bulls, Harbaugh, great fit. Bucks fire Bulls. Yeah, maybe some of these good coaches wait to see if maybe the Bucks fire. I wouldn't be shocked if John Harbaugh getting fired makes another team fire their coach so that they can bring in Harbaugh. Like the Bucks. The team that, I guess, we'll keep our guy. Oh, Harbaugh's here. Maybe he's an upgrade. There's something there. Your pass rush better than last year. It's great right now. Schwing. Party on, Garth. Party on, Wayne. Cook got paid and took the NFL title. Barkley got paid in his mid. I think you're crazy. Joe Shane. Is it really Shane? Why don't they just spell it Shane then? Why is there an O and an E before the N? What's up, sports? How you doing? We need more RPOs and play action fakes and Hurts, Mixon, and Barkley. Yeah, look, we know all the things we need. Jalen can avoid injury by taking a slide. Look, we know all the things we need, right? The Eagles set a record for most hitch routes run in a season in the NFL since route trees have been calculated. The most by a large number. Predictability. But again, it's the playoffs. It's not week 2, week 3. There is no making changes at this point. Our offense is what it is. It's not going to change. Maybe they execute it better. Maybe the 49ers' injuries on defense make us more successful, but the offense isn't going to change. There's no light switch. There's no hidden playbook. That's the thing. It is going to remain what it is. But please, I'll say it's Shane, but I'll keep calling it Shoeen for you, okay? The Ducks had lots of spunk for a team that had played the night before, but they took our spunk. Look, would you call that hit on Drysdale cheap, Nooms? I really want to know. Because it looked cheap at first. Then I watched the replay from a couple different angles. I was like, Yeah, maybe it was cheap, but not as cheap as I originally thought. I think I initially overreacted just because the guy was down on his face. Good morning to you, yes. Am I a jerk for wanting Steichen to get fired? Look, I suggested it, Keith, a few times throughout the last couple of weeks that Shane Steichen could be on the hot seat. They probably won't fire him, Nicole. So they'll probably give him one more year. They'll blame Daniel Jones' injury. I don't know. You want him because you want him back in Philly. I don't think he would come back to Philly anyway. So, yeah, we got spicy news this morning. Spicy news every day. It'd be poetic if Harbaugh went to Cleveland and turned that team into something, having come from a Ravens franchise that was once the Cleveland Browns. I never even thought about it like that. I was just thinking about him going to a division rival would be interesting. Oh, my God. All right. I can't pronounce names. My apologies. You keep bazooed and hootin' my name pronunciation, okay? Ravens has to be the best job when healthy this team can win the AFC. Absolutely. Now, who do the Ravens go after, I guess, would be a big question. Indy may never fire Steichen for what he got out of the March of the It's Indiana Jones, not Danny Dimes. But, yeah, I mean, I think him getting Danny Dimes to be even relatively in the MVP conversation at one point in the season is things miracles are made of, probably, right? I mean, insane. I'm not nervous because our offense, son, all right? Because I think the answer to the question is yes, they can do enough to move on, and our defense can carry us. And it's okay when your defense carries you. If Nick Flame's out, I'm firing him and replacing him with Harbaugh. I wonder if Nick likes pancakes. You know, I saw one or two people say this on Twitter yesterday, and I wouldn't be shocked if one of the hosts on the radio stations, WIP and the fanny packs, suggests firing Nick Sirianni for John Harbaugh. Well, let's just put it into perspective. Nick Sirianni's 5-year stretch as our head coach is probably better than any 5-year stretch that John Harbaugh ever had. Hot take, Nick Sirianni is a better coach than John Harbaugh. So, no, I would not fire Nick Sirianni under any circumstance for John Harbaugh. How about Dolphins? Maybe they make a decision late. That's not a bad one. They could be in the room. The Jets didn't want to move on from Aaron Glenn after 1 year. That could be one. Maybe the Bills, if they flame out in the first round, finally fire McDermott and bring in John Harbaugh. There's another team. John Harbaugh was a disciple of Andy Reid early in his career. Maybe Andy Reid decides to retire or, gracefully moves on. It's another place he could go. Phonics sports philosophy history. Gotcha. Miami hasn't stepped away from McDaniels yet. They have not. John Harbaugh would make any team instantly legit. Maybe. Our fun and learning never ends. Hooked on Phonics worked for me. They said the same thing about Carroll, and look at the Raiders now. It's true. Dable's a good coach. Would be a great OC. Also has a history with Jalen. Yeah, I think Brian Dable, is he a great OC? I don't know. The Giants' stench hasn't worn off on him, in my opinion. But I would definitely listen to him in a conversation if we move on from Kevin Patullo. But I'm not entirely sure the Eagles move on from Kevin Patullo. I think Kevin Patullo could save his job by winning the game on Sunday. 11-6 is mid. Okay, cool. Probably a solid reason for Harbaugh to take a year off. I think Harbaugh takes a year off. Unless a team that hasn't fired their coach brings him in, I think John Harbaugh takes a year off. None of the current openings he's going to. Yes, they probably should have fired Pete Carroll, 2-14. That's not good enough. But the Raiders probably should have kept them on the sense that that's now 5 coaches in 6 years or 4 coaches in 5 years. Something like $50 million next year they're going to be paying to fired head coaches. Yeah, he's still young enough, but Brian Dable is going to have to work for a couple years to rebuild that reputation. So you would get maybe 2 years at least at Dable here if he came here. On that hit, he intentionally stuck out the knee. So I didn't see the knee. I was looking for something I thought I saw him stick out his shoulder on that hit on Drysdale. I hope I didn't stay up till after the game. Did they make any comments about Drysdale's condition? Unrealistic fans piss me off lately. So much cope. I mean, you cope with your Bills all the time. Ravens will go after Flores. That's a good choice. I really hope Brian Flores gets an opportunity, even though these opportunities suck. But Brian Flores 100% should be head coach in the NFL. A Bills fan would know all about Cope. Exactly. I'm telling you right now, I would be surprised if Bills beat Jaguars Sunday. I actually think the Jaguars might win that game for sure. And Sean McDermott will probably get fired if that's the case. No, they shouldn't have walked away from Carroll because he was working on building something. Yeah. He was stuck. Whose decision was it originally to make Chip Kelly his OC? Was that Carroll or ownership? If it was Carroll's decision, then that's a fireable offense. If it was management, you give him another year because that obviously was such a bad call. Nick does nothing with the X's and O's. He's a cheerleader, which would be fine if there wasn't drama every single season. Drama, but we still find a way to win. Drama, but every player seems to take his back. There's something about what Nick Sirianni does, okay? The big picture, the leadership, the stuff he does with the media, keeping the team together when the drama happens. Nick Sirianni is an excellent head coach. My complaint is not aimed at Eagles, Vikings, Raiders, Cowboys. So you never, yeah. Look, Cowboys fans are just delusional, for sure. Nick reminds me a lot of Gabe Kapler. Get that, don't ever say that. Gabe Kapler never won shit with the Phillies. I'm all in fire McDermott if out in the first 2 rounds. Not just this week, the next round too. Okay. I think he might be safe if they win this week against the Jaguars on the road. I think that saves his career. But I agree, he probably should get, if he doesn't get to the Super Bowl, they should probably consider firing him. Pete and Chip on the same staff was the most Raiders move ever. But whose decision was that is the question. I'd be lying through my teeth if I said I knew what Dable is. Yeah, me too. Exactly. I don't know if he's the offensive genius he was before or the disaster of a head coach, or was he a disaster of a head coach because the Giants organization is bad. 11-6 is mid-math. Yeah, look. Yeah, you got one in every group, MJS, all right? One in every group. We don't entertain those comments. We're entertaining the idea of firing Sirianni but defending Pete Carroll. Yeah, exactly. There's no idea. Nobody can seriously think that Nick Sirianni is anywhere close to the end of his tenure with Philly. Even if he loses this year, his job's safe all of next year as well. If he loses this week to the 49ers, next year, he's not on the hot seat at all, in my opinion. Okay, maybe not mid, but a huge drop. I mean, division champions, going to go to the Super Bowl again. From Ohio, wonder fish care with Brown. From Ohio, I don't understand that comment there. I'm not sure. Their Jags are hot right now. They are hot right now. I don't trust Trevor Lawrence big picture, but they are hot. Guys, we've been hanging around 22, 25 people. We do not have that many. Like, subscribe, share. We're at 955 subscribers. Can we get to 1,000 this week? Please, please, please. Like, subscribe, share. Continue voting on the poll question. We'll update that in a bit. I'm going to get caught up here. I'm 3 minutes behind now in comments. Did Rams really not consult Carroll before sticking him with Chip Kelly? Yeah, I don't know, man. It's pretty bad. Wonder what Buck's waiting on doing something behind closed doors. I don't know. I don't know enough about the organization, Buck, to really know why they haven't. Not sure. Yeah, how does Chip Kelly keep getting jobs? I mean, the guy's just terrible. Wither Doug P. Doug Peterson going to be in any conversations for head coaching gigs this year? Maybe he massages their feet. Wonder John wants go home back Cleveland. Oh, John Harbaugh go back to Cleveland. Gotcha. I don't know. What's up, Anthony? How you doing? Why are you all so damn negative? I'm not being negative. Some in the chat are, Anthony, but I'm not. Okay. We are a fucking powerhouse, as you say. These years will be looked back on the glory days. Absolutely agree with you. Okay. Absolutely agree with you. We spent the whole day on the show yesterday, Anthony, me explaining it doesn't matter how mediocre the offense is. You can win on the backs of an elite defense, and they will win on the backs of their elite defense. Right? So, Anthony, there ain't no negativity from this host right here. I got the utmost confidence in this team. All right? No doubt about it. I love it. Yes, you're right. We are a fucking powerhouse. Bring that energy to the chat, please. John Gruden get gig or Bill Belichick? Ooh, I don't know about that. Kind of forgot about Bill Belichick. Yeah, exactly. He must be new here. Maybe if he subscribes, he can bring some of that positivity to the chat on a daily basis. Come back, NFL. Yeah. We are not moving on from KP because we are going to the Super Bowl. But if they decide to move on, who would be your favorite OC candidate? Not even thinking about that, Kevin. Don't want to think about that. I'm not even going to think about it and entertain the idea until I know I have to. That's the thing with this city, and it's kind of annoying to me, and I'm not calling you out on it. We're always worried about the off season before the current season is over. We're still in the playoffs. Chip Kelly, actually a very good evaluator of talent that should be a GM, but the player management part, just man, no way. Plus, he has Belichick's blessing. Let's put Bill Belichick and Chip Kelly together on a team. What's up, Mitchie Boo? Good morning to you. He loses to the Niners in the first round. Patullo should be fired immediately. They fired the OC and both DCs after the Tampa Bay loss. Phil, you streaking. I don't streak. Nobody wants to see this. What's up, Bruce? Good morning to you. Hope you're well. Poisadelphia, Phil. That is not me. Not even close. We got a new name. We've changed names. Josh Allen's wasted career back. I think Gruden will not get hired ever again. He's blacklisted from the NFL now. I feel we will win even if Patullo doesn't do a good job again because of exactly, Bruce. That's all I've been saying. Our offense can be mediocre, and we can still win because we have the best damn defense. Browns are one or two players away. Outstanding D. They hit on all their top draft picks. Defensive rookie there, Fannin, stud. I mean, they really just need a quarterback, or they got to make a decision to spend 2 years developing one of those quarterbacks. But, kid, honestly, the Browns might be. You got a great cornerback. You got the best defensive end in football. Maybe the Browns aren't that far away with the right coach. Realistically, the offense is stalled and the NFC is stronger than usual. Love that. Thank you, Kevin. Will anyone want Belichick after the crap show that was North Carolina football? I don't know. I wouldn't want him on my team at all. Can you imagine, like, after the 23 season, half of the Eagles fans want them to fire Nick Sirianni and bring in Bill Belichick for 24? Trust me, we don't win the Super Bowl last year if Bill Belichick's our head coach. I think the issue this year is that Seattle just about the same level of elite defense as we do. And that is true. The hope is that Sam Darnold's in the playoffs. Okay? I guess that's the hope. Otherwise, Seattle's defense. I said it on Tuesday, Nooms. This NFL playoffs is about defense, okay? Defense. Defense is the name of the game this year, right? The Seattle, the Eagles, Denver, Houston. It's elite defenses all over the top end of the NFL. The Patriots. It's going to be a Super Bowl between two elite defenses. Not college coach, NFL coach. I don't want him as a coach anywhere. Belichick is a joke, period, at this point. I have more confidence in VJ Edgecombe than Kevin Patullo. Well, VJ Edgecombe's a stud. VJ Edgecombe should be the favorite to win Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. Going to my first Eagles game on Sunday and will wear my say, congratulations. That's awesome. First Eagles game and it's a playoff game? Good for you. Good for you. Congratulations. There's more Knicks than I have yeah, exactly. You have protection orders against you? What? Really think Bill Belichick only good because of Brady? I don't know. That's a conversation for a different day. We can do a whole show just having that conversation. Offense will go do enough. Just be efficient. Jalen steps up. Barkley gets 80. Go Birds. Look, again, remember this, MJS. Like, it's not like the Eagles' offense has been atrocious. 19th in points per game. Not good enough. I know. But Jalen Hurts, most passing touchdowns of his career. Over almost 35 total touchdowns. 2 1,000-yard rushers. Saquon got 1,140 rushing yards this year. Dallas Goedert, 11 tight ends record for a tight end, 11 touchdowns. You're without offensive line pieces all year long. The offense is good enough with this defense to win another Super Bowl. As long as we just be efficient, as long as Jalen doesn't have one of those 5 turnover games, we're fine. Eagles are better are protecting the ball than the Seahawks, which I think will be the difference. Yeah, I didn't look at the Seahawks. I did put together all my team stats for Eagles and 49ers. I do have the turnover battle. 49ers turn the ball over a lot too, okay? That could be a big key this week. Sucking hind teeth this year. Okay. Bet 6. What? Phil, I feel you're right about VJ is a stud. Plain and simple. I can see bring positive, but the lack of caution make me be like. I get it. I'm cautious. It's the playoffs. I said 2 weeks ago I didn't want to face the 49ers because of Christian McCaffrey. I saw an interesting point made about the 49ers. The amount of touches CMC gets will determine if we win or lose this game. Because if the 49ers are controlling the ball and scoring at will, then CMC is going to have 25, 30 touches in the game. But when they fall behind and lose, his touches are like 15 to 20 a game. So we can keep them from getting Christian McCaffrey the ball more than 20 times. Means our defense is winning. Kittle is scared to come to the link. Is Bryce Huff scared to come to the link? I saw a 49ers account randomly pop up on my page saying that it's the Bryce Huff revenge game. And I laughed, threw up, and cried all at the same time because it was so damn funny. VJ might end up being a superstar. I think VJ Edgecombe has the potential, barring a catastrophe injury or something like that, to be a superstar. He's got a little Jimmy Butler in him. He's got a little D Wade in him. He's got a little of a lot in him. He's got that dog mentality. Darnold will do Darnold things. That's what we're banking on in that situation. Morey is a freaking god at drafting guards. He's just terrible at everything else. He's actually done a pretty good job this past offseason to put us in this position. I said something on vacation. I forget what. I texted somebody it. I forget who I look it up. I said something to my nieces and nephew on vacation. They said something back. So I'm like, I'm going to make a little 6'7" joke. So I'm like, oh, 6'7". And they just looked at each other, all started giggling. They're 10, 11, and 13. No, 10, 11, and 12, something like that, their ages. And they looked at each other, giggled, and ran away. Because whatever I said to 6'7", they thought it was, I don't even know what it means. But I did make a 6'7" joke, and they thought it was the greatest. Get ready to see your first win at the link. That's right, damn straight. What's up, Westball? How you doing? Just protect the ball, we should be okay. And yes, I know that Jalen Hurts had that one bad game against the Chargers. But that is uncharacteristic to him, Wes. Jalen Hurts will protect the ball most of the time. The Eagles will not turn the ball over most of the time. Where's my numbers? The Eagles have only turned the ball over. They're the 7th least amount of turnovers in the NFL. They had 15 giveaways, 7 interceptions, 8 fumbles. But 5 of them were in one game. So take the Chargers game out, they had 10 turnovers in the other 6 games. So I'm not worried about that. As long as the backup corners stay on the sidelines. Dude, you know what? The one thing I learned from Sunday, Anthony, that they always. So is this the old Anthony or is this a new Anthony, by the way? Because there's another guy, Anthony, but he had a different profile picture. So maybe you're the same Anthony and you are not new to the program. I learned on Sunday that our backup cornerbacks are even worse than I thought by a long shot. CMC is a dog, but they had a rough game last week and we rested the starters. Exactly. Mitch is seething at 67, 69. Happy New Year, Phil. Yeah, Jonathan, Happy New Year to you as well. Very concerned Eagles can or will lose in wild card. And I would love we're not talking about a new head coach in Philly. Nick Sirianni is not going anywhere. 0 chance. Zippo. None. Get it out of your mind. It's not happening. No way, no how. It comes down to how well JSN versus Q goes. If Epps can provide a good bracket, not sure if I would rather. You're not going to get Makuba because Makuba's not going to be back. And JSN is a tough matchup for Q, but Q's the best quarterback in football. So, yeah. Right now, we're 45 minutes in the show. We have 29 votes on the poll question. Are you really concerned that the Eagles could lose Sunday just because of Kevin Patullo? Now, Kevin Patullo can cause this team to lose. Yes, 48%. No, 52%. All right, no is winning. That's good. You can't get to 69 without getting through 67. That's true. I wouldn't make that kind of a joke, but anyway. I think Eagles will not have issue because 49ers offense be as stale as Eagles when you shut down CMC. Ricky Purcell might be out. Where's my injury reports? Current injury reports on the – I got way too many notes. Way too many notes right now. Fred Warner out. Tatum Bethune out. Bosa obviously out. Williams and Purcell, based off of the comments that John Harbaugh made, it's going to be really a last-second decision whether they play. BJ's the greatest hits of Jimmy Butler and Iggy. Yeah, Iggy, I can see a little Iggy in there as well. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I do whatever it is to get the kids to laugh on vacation. Flyers look like a legit team, fun to watch again. Yeah, Rick, I talked about it earlier in the show. I mean, Trevor Zegras. I mean, yeah, you know, I love the this. Okay, after the goal, mine's blue by Uncle Phil. Yeah, you know a trend is over when Phil. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. All those young guys do is win? Yes. VJ reminds me of a lot of guys, which speaks to how talented and well-rounded he is. Yes. Agreed. Playoff Hurts is absolutely different, okay? People forget how special Jalen Hurts is, but then they forget how special he is come the playoffs. How's your new? Well, welcome to the program, okay? I like to know who's chatting. We've been building the show. I've been doing the show for a long time. On my own channel here for a little over a year, but I've been doing this show for a long time. I'm trying to build the listener base up, so I always appreciate everybody. All opinions are welcome. We keep it very fun in the chat. We try to keep it positive. We try to have good debates. We don't talk politics. That's rule number 1 on this channel. Hurts literally doubled his turnovers in one game. Exactly. But then didn't do it the rest of the year, basically. McKee played with second, third, fourth stringers. Nothing to worry about with our backup. No, we were talking backups not because of McKee. We were talking backups if you came in at the end there, Rick, because of the secondary. Keely Ringo, Jacorian Bennett. I guess you could throw Mac McWilliams in there as well. He played a little bit. What was the other dude we got from the Jets? Michael Carter. Our secondary behind our starting 3. There's a reason why Adoree Jackson has been able to hold on to that second cornerback position all year. Never questioned Vic about starting Adoree Jackson over any of the other cornerbacks ever again. Because, yeah, exactly. Shout out New Anthony. Yes, we love New Anthony. Defense is better right now with Epps over Makuba. Absolutely agree. Shocking. Not a knock on Epps, but I mean, he was one of those guys who've been bouncing around in practice squads. So I was kind of shocked he had so much left in the tank so quickly when he got here, Rick. Because when he got here, he got hurt, and then he came back out of that injury and was great. Hurts has to scramble for at least 100 yards to win on. Well, they're not playing on Saturday, so he doesn't have to do that. I would be shocked if Hurts had 100 yards. There are lots of nuances to Flyers improvements, but none of it happens without Vlad, given how deflating bad goaltending can be. I absolutely agree with that. And at what point do we make a change with Ursan? Whether you trade for a different backup, whether you bring up, what's his name, Kozlov, however you say his name, and give him another shot. Ursan, I don't think, can be your backup goalie anymore. I think that's one of the big weaknesses on this team right now. I have the most faith in Q than anyone on the Eagles at doing their job Sunday. Soldier, Steven Fuentes, 100% accurate with that statement. The only problem is Q might be bored. If Ricky Purcell don't play, who's he got to stop? I haven't even looked at the depth at wide receiver for the team. Can you believe you? Yeah, I mentioned him. They did. We were sitting in the hot tub one day. I was babysitting as I did every day on vacation. Me and my 3 older nieces and nephew. And they're like, do you know what Give me some cool hip lingo, because they did try to teach me some of it. And I think I retained 1% of it, maybe. But yeah, they tried to teach me. Do you know what this word means? Do you know what this word means? I'm like, I know what sus means. They're like, well, that's not cool anymore. I'm like, okay. So we did go through an hour of talking about cool kids lingo nowadays and trying to teach me. I doubt any of it sunk in. Just like to get rid of AJ and Jalen crew, no one considers the alternative. Exactly, MJS. Exactly. 1,000% accurate. Anthony, did you stop? Why would you even put that in there? We don't talk politics, Josh. Let's get to the playoffs first before we make any change. Exactly, Robert. Carter looked good at nickel corner. Did he? I just saw the secondary as a whole being bad. I don't know who looked good or not. I know Keely Ringo turned away from making a play. I hope this year's draft doesn't bite us in the a-hole. You mean Campbell and Makuba? I don't think so. Blanks needs Epps because he needs a solid safety to play next to. It allows him to be out of position with fewer consequences. Absolutely agree. Who is Q? Quinion Mitchell? What? Ringo was exposed in college by Marvin Harrison Jr. I was disappointed when the Eagles drafted him. A lot of people liked him, but I never pretend to be a draft expert, so I didn't know. That Flyers game last night was a fun game to watch. Absolutely caught pieces of it last night. It was. He don't respond to it, okay? Don't instigate, or don't let him instigate you. You could tell you have some experience at this. Sounds like a radio personality you need to be on. Well, why don't you tell them to hit them up? Be a dream of mine. To bring them, to help them make the change. My goal is to have sports talk be what it should be. And this is what it should be, minus the idiots that talk politics. But I just do this here. I appreciate that. Thank you. I have no experience. I'm a retired pizza shop owner. Retired 5 weeks now. And that's it. I've been in restaurant business for 30 years. Let's make the Super Bowl first before we make it. I agree, Robert. You don't want to make change? Ridiculous, Robert. Which he's one of the two young guys we got. Not Kozlov, one of the other two young guys we got in the minors, right? So you got to help me with some of the small, lesser known names here on this one. But anything would be better at this point. What Urson's giving you, because it also puts, if you get a competent backup, maybe it makes Vlad even better, because Vlad's got a lot of pressure. Vlad can't lose when he starts. Again on the Eagles, after seeing the play of the Eagles reserves, I forgot all about Sidney Brown. How he should be feeling regretful. And the 2 seed was important. The 2 seed, look, I'm over that conversation because I was totally for resting the guys. As Nick Sirianni said, one thing you can control is giving your players the rest they want and need. You could not control the outcome of the games. Campbell and Makuba are rookies. We have been spoiled recently. Yeah, very rarely do rookies come in and do a Q. And Coop did last year, what Carter did the year before that. Very rarely do you have rookies step in like Devontae Smith. It's a rare thing. So them having little hiccups, I'm not giving up on them. Have a media contract with the team when all they do is dog. Yeah, exactly. Seriously, some of the things they ask some people on that show, I would hang up on them instantly if I was a coach or a player. Ridiculous what they do. Look, you can ask tough questions, but you can also be ass twats, and that's what they are most of the time. Our lower picks haven't really hit either much. It's a little deflating. But the extra picks we had, don't forget, we got that 68th pick from the Jets, too. Why don't serve up pizza anymore? Officially retired on November 19th. We can put the McKee-Hurts argument to bed, brother. Absolutely. Phil joining WIP would be weird. It would be weird. For as much as I've complained about the work they do on their channels, it would be weird for them to offer me a job. But I would take the job in a heartbeat. I'm unemployed right now. I have no source of income right now, okay? High hopes for Robinson at D-tackle. Yeah, look, again, so I was away on vacation last week, Anthony. So I was watching it. I was watching the game on Stream East on my cell phone. So it's really hard for me to zone in on individual players. But, yeah, Ty Robinson has been a disappointment. But, again, he was a rookie. Give him time, okay? He was a rookie fighting for time on an elite defensive line. So I'm gonna have patience with the rookies. Not everybody can be Jalix Hunt. in 2 years, right? I really hope our first, second, and fourth rounders live up to some hype. I hope so too. We shall see. Imagine if he didn't rest them and Jalen, our O-line, was out there for this. Look, I look at Brett Toth got hurt. That could have been Landon Dickerson. I look at Grant Calcaterra getting hurt. That could have been Dallas Goedert. For what? For who? Nick says a lot of things. That is true. What's the difference between single high cover 2, cover 3, cover 4, cover? I don't know. That's not me. That's not my knowledge. I don't pretend to know those things in detail. As for Tanner, big letdown versus Washington. Too many passing attempts. Not giving Tank Bigsby once the ball in the last 20 minutes of game action in. Vanilla Guerrero got a serious wake-up call. We anointed him the next thing because of his cool nickname, right? And that's not good enough. Ty Robinson looked slow and didn't have the pop he did in college. Yeah. 3D day picks are always a dart toss statistically. Yeah. Ty Robinson doesn't deserve a nickname until he deserves. Yeah, absolutely agree with you. I hate that. Look, we're finally caught up. It only took me 56 minutes today to catch up on all the comments. We still got over 20 people watching. Let me check a quick update here. You are watching Trending in the AM, live or on replay right now on the STT Sports Network. Make sure you hit the like button, subscribe button, share button. We do have 23 likes on the video today. We've gained one new subscriber, up to 956. Thank you. I'm assuming that's Anthony. I appreciate that. If you haven't, like, share, subscribe. If you're watching this on replay, please comment, like, share, subscribe. It matters. Okay, it does. The growth of this channel would be fantastic with the help. 31 votes on the poll. We're at 40%. 48% say yes, the Eagles could lose just because Kevin Patullo on Sunday. 52% say no. Unfortunately, way too close of a vote for my like. I think it should be no, should be in the 70, 80%. But guys, make sure you hit those buttons. It helps. Everything helps. Every click helps, okay? It is free to do it. It is free to support this channel. So I appreciate you guys doing that. Would love to see a 2012 split for Saquon and Tank. Yeah. I'd be fine with that. I want to see them run the ball right at Bryce Huff. Run at these linebackers, these third and fourth string linebackers. I would love to see 30 runs because we're just blowing them out. I don't have a prediction yet, but I'm seeing like a 27-14, 27-13 type score. And if that's the case, you're going to run the ball a lot. Let's keep Jalen Hurts at 22 pass. Jalen Hurts is going to be 18 to 22 with this running back split, 160 passing yards. Happy man. Happy man. Ty Robinson needs to flip to the O-lines. I think that'll be best for him. That's a big flip once you're in the pros, going from D-line to O-line. You should start a YouTube cooking show. You would get millions of subscribers in no time. I'm no cook anymore. I'm a retired cook right now. Of course, we want him to be good. We definitely scored big on the 7th rounder in Jomo. Look, I talked about in the Eagles check down my pre-recorded show. We're giving a lot of hype towards Q, rightfully so. We've given a lot of hype recently to Jalen Hunt, rightfully so. Moro Ojomo on 3rd down amongst all NFL defensive tackles, 3rd in the NFL in pressure rate, 3rd in quarterback pressures, 1st in quarterback hurries. Moro Ojomo, Jalen Hunt, making the decisions Howie Roseman has to make on guys like Carter, Davis, Nolan Smith. So difficult because you can't pay everyone. Then something special right there. I'm sure he does. It doesn't help that Gorilla shares a name with the guy who, oh my gosh. It's all about execution more than Patullo, in my opinion. Execution, injuries, health, getting Lane Johnson back out there, Landon Dickerson having some fresh legs, maybe Cam Jurgens figuring out why he's been ball sack bad this year. There's a lot to it. Patullo has not been good, Anthony. I am not giving him a pass whatsoever. But execution and injuries on the O-line, it's a big deal. We still had 2 1,000-yard receivers, almost 1,150 rushing yards from Saquon Barkley, 11 touchdowns from Dallas Goedert, and Jalen Hurts had a career high in passing touchdowns this year. It's not been all bad. 24 likes. Keep those numbers going up, guys. Hit those buttons. Since high cover one, Leave only one safety. I'm not even going to read all that. That's too complicated for me. At least give Tank 5 per game. Give Tank something, right? I saw something that Will Shipley was the lowest rated running back in the NFL. Maybe this year, maybe it was just last week, with X amount of usage. So I don't want to see Shipley out there. I want to see more Tank. And in some games, you see more Shipley than Tank, and it makes no sense. He's got a weird running style, but he's effective, and he's got fresh legs. Gotcha. I don't really want a football lesson right now. It's not my department. I don't want to be an X's and O's guy. I mean, I could be. I could sit here and study all that stuff. I could do all 22 videos and break them down, but that's not my thing. And I don't want it to be my thing. You got to know your lane. You got to stay in your lane. You got to know what you are. I know I'm a read 243 comments in 1 hour guy. Do the math. How many comments is that a minute? 243 comments read, not posted, read in the last minute or hour. You're going to hate me for this, but the Nigerian pronunciation of Jomo is O-Jo-Mo. Isn't that what I say, Ojomo? Maybe I pronounced that middle O a little wrong. Ojomo. It just sounds better, Ojomo. It's easier to say. It means Josh Allen sucks. Cover 3 is 1 deep safety, 2 deep corners. Hooked on K1. 67 comments a minute. 67 comments a minute. That's more than 1 a second. Just think about that. Think about that. Think what I put out there. Good morning, Eagles girl. How you doing today? Hope you are well. Hope you are doing good. Go Birds. Dez. Hope that's not Des Bryant. Hope you like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments on this game. Everything going on in the NFL. We're talking Phillies. Will JT Realmuto sign or not? Talking Sixers, big game. Get the stench off the Nuggets game tonight against the Wizards. Flyers, huge win last night. It is all on the table. Whatever you want to talk about. We spent an hour mainly on the Eagles. It is all on the table. Oh, you didn't math that? You just joked. Gotcha. Oh, it's a 6. See, I already forgot about the 6-7 joke, okay? Gotcha. First syllable has the greatest enunciation. Ojomo. Gotcha. It is not 6. Yeah. I thought it was a lot. Like, I can't click that fast. And I don't read every comment, but I try to read just about every comment because some of you try to sneak some inappropriate shit in there that I've got to screen occasionally. But it is what it is, right? It is what it is. I kind of missed it, okay? See, to the newbies in the chat, I do have a tendency to miss some jokes just because there are so many comments to read, okay? Wish the Phillies would go get Bichette or Tucker. Man, you know me, Rick. Tucker was always my number 1 target. The only way you're going to get Tucker was if you didn't sign Schwarber. Okay? They did sign Schwarber, so Tucker ain't coming. I didn't think Bichette was going to be even in the realm of possibility. It is. I don't think they get him, but it would be great. Bichette would make us better, for sure. Here's my question on the Phillies. Do the Phillies have to eventually put a deadline? Yo, JT, the deal's been on the table for all offseason. You got to sign it by X date or we got to move on. Do they have to do that? Because most likely the alternative is just Marshawn Stubbs. I mean, there's some other alternatives out there, but that's most likely what they'd go into camp with. Do they got to set a deadline so they can make a decision on doing something else? Safe? It's a safe word. Anything from Josh Allen can be ignored. Yeah. I mean, he's been a supporter of the show and channel for years, Anthony. But only about 50% of his comments are worthwhile. 50% of them are annoying as hell. But I love the support. Yeah, I don't know what I did wrong with my coffee. I'm struggling today because this was not the best cup of coffee I made. It just didn't hit this morning. Tastes a little weak. I don't know what I did. Maybe I didn't measure it right. Look, I'm trying. I'm trying my best, okay? Biggest challenge in the playoffs will definitely be the Seattle. Worried to see KP against them. Look, it could be. We got to get there first, obviously. You've got to get to Seattle. Don't look past the 49ers. The 49ers are a good team. Okay? They're injured beyond belief, but they're still a good team. Keep it PG-13 always. I mean, rated R is okay sometimes, but always, motherfucker, hit that like button, subscribe, share, and no politics. I've seen one person's name, political name, in the chat like 3 times today. No politics. As a parent of 2 young children, the 6'7" thing has gotten to be too much. It really is. It really is, Rick. I want to know who started. I hope they trademarked it or get paid for every time it gets posted. If I paid him enough, I bet Ringo could cover my barbecue. Maybe. All right, we gained another subscriber. Cool, 957 now. Inching 43 away from that magical 1,000. Man, I want that so bad. So bad. I can feel it in my bones. I want it so bad. So, guys, like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. My son discarded 6'7" back. Did he? That's good. You're probably happy about that. Everybody just messes with each other. Measure twice, a brew once. I fucked it up today at Big Al. I did. It's just not good enough. Nothing's worse when you neat your coffee every morning and you brew a weak pot of coffee. You want to hear an even worse story? So Monday we flew home from Orlando. My alarm was set for 4 a.m. We had to be out of the house by 6 a.m. to get to the Orlando airport and stuff to fly home. And my brother-in-law, I saw him, I thought, filling up the coffee pot. I saw him pouring water, so when whoever got it first could just hit brew and brew the coffee. Well, he only put the water in the pot. He didn't put ground. So the first pot of coffee on Monday morning at 4:30 a.m. while we were packing up a rental house and kids had no coffee in it. That was my bad. I didn't check. Supposedly it was my fault because I didn't check. Someone else said, I say, if you pour the water, you might as well pour the coffee in there too, right? Not my fault. It's true. I mentioned Martin Van Buren one time. Yeah, exactly. Don't ever mention the Van Buren gang, right? You got to know the hand signal to know the Van Buren gang. 10 away from 67. Yeah, exactly. Shout out Anthony. This is why I don't have kids. I would have all my kids foster care and my belts. Yeah, exactly. Look, I love my nieces and nephews, but vacation's good enough. It'd be tough to do it year round. I don't know how parents do it, really. 1K giveaway, front row tickets. Yeah, you wish. You think I make no money. I'm unemployed right now, and you want me to give that away? What? You crazy? It's taken too long to get to 1,000 for me to do a giveaway. I did try to do a giveaway on my Twitter page this weekend. I did say get to 1,000 by the end of the Eagles game on Sunday, and I would do a $100 shopping spree for somebody on Fanatics, and it got me 1 subscriber. I shout out your show on my. I know you do. You are my man, Rick. You are one of the OGs, one of the real ones. And you do a great show too. Unfortunately, your show is just past my bedtime most of the time. I like to get to bed early so I can wake up with energy to do this show. I can't stay up till 11 o'clock watching your show all the time. That's why I brought a stupidly expensive machine to make my coffee for me. We bought a nice machine, but it was on the discount rack for a reason. That's why it sucks. Duck, I hear you. My Keurig. I need a night way to grind. Somebody sent me. My man Zane, who owns a coffee shop in New York, sent me a bag of coffee grinds, but they're not ground. They're whole beans. I wonder if I could grind them up in like a food processor or a blender or something. We had 500 keg part. What? Mitchkoff didn't play last night, and barely anyone noticed. I didn't notice either. Honestly, we got to figure out Mitchkoff, how we get through to him and get him back on track to be the elite prospect that he should be. We think this game against San Fran predictions are bad. Think about how bad they become if we host Tampa next round. We're not facing Tampa. Tampa didn't make the playoffs. Thank you very much. All these things are like nickel and dime things. Nothing expensive, no real memorabilia. Things I found at thrift stores and collected over the years. Obviously, you can see a lot of Phillies. Obviously, we talk mostly Eagles, but the Phillies are my baby, okay? Always will be. So I appreciate that. You could buy a coffee bean grinder. They're not expensive. But I don't buy coffee beans normally. This was just a random gift. I'm over it, okay? I feel like Flyers fans need to move on from Cutter. I mean, like, he was awful. What he did here, terrible. But you know what? I'm over it. I'm focused on the now, not 3 years ago. You can't grind up in a food processor. You need a coffee grinder only. Okay. Well, maybe I'll give away my bag of coffee ground or beans. Sophomore jinx for Mitchkov. He's going to figure it out. I have no doubt he'll figure it out. People forget he's 20 years old, Freddie. There are too many people on Twitter saying that Mitchkov is a bust. They made the wrong decision there. Blah, blah, blah. But it's not the case. Mitchkov's 20 years old. Give the kid a chance to legally be allowed to drink in this country before we push him off to the side. I still have all the faith in the world. At some point in the next year or so, Mitchkov will be dominating the NHL. I really hope Mitchkov doesn't turn into Pavel. I don't know. I think he'll be fine. Coach A.J. McCarron. What? Is A.J. McCarron a coach? Missed my coffee. I can't be without my coffee. J.D. who? Who deserved the D's he got? I don't know. They don't know puck. They just don't know sports, period. It's just like people complaining that not complaining, but saying maybe that we had a lot of busts this year in the NFL draft. Campbell, Makuba, Ty Robinson. I am not ever putting off any rookie after 1 or 2 years. 1 or 2 years is not enough to ever count out a rookie. Ever. All right, Packers win in Chicago, giving us home field round 2. Jordan Love will be playing. It's very possible. I think if the Bears win, they're a one-and-done team in the playoffs. But I could see their lack of playoff experience, a young quarterback. I could see it backfiring. Caleb Williams is prone to dumb mistakes. Mitchkov or McCain. In what sense? I think Jarrett McCain's a great potential trade chip at the deadline for the Sixers. Only because we have a plethora at the position. Absolutely no chance we beat the Niners. Brock Purdy will cook us. I think that is a ridiculous statement. You are welcome to that opinion, but I think it's a ridiculous statement. Our defense is too elite. Ricky Purcell probably will not play. Trent Williams will probably not play. You got to stop CMC, and that's it. That's it. I would rather drink shitty Keurig coffee than buy a coffee grinder. I mean, I have a real coffee pot, and I have a Keurig. I need the Keurig to brew my mushroom coffee, which I haven't had yet this week. Who cares about the Battlehawks? Imagine we beat Sanford and then play the Packers. I mean, that would be pretty awesome. But I wouldn't be afraid of the Bears despite losing to them on Black Friday. I would be fine going up against the Bears. All right? I think their magic would run out. And if that's the way it plays out, San Fran and then the Packers, that means the Seattle would have what? The Rams or the I guess they would have the Rams. I guess the Rams could beat Seattle, and then we could have a rematch against the Rams here in Philly. That would be the path to all home games in Philly, right? Burn some sage, yeah. Sorry, I lost focus for a minute there. Yeah, JD Drew. I was at the Battery game. I did not throw the batteries, but I was at the Battery game. The Flyers signed a fourth-line center to a 5-year deal. Cutter 20 goals with the Ducks. Mitchkov comes into camp not skating for 4 months. Luchenko can't get above juniors. Not looking good for Danny Briere. The Flyers look great. I have nothing to complain about with the Flyers right now, Nina. Has Danny Briere been perfect? No. But Danny Briere's got a plan. I'm going to enjoy the ride. No expectations for my Flyers and Sixers. I'm just enjoying the ride, and right now, the Flyers are very enjoyable to watch. I don't think the Packers beat the Pope's Chosen. I think it's a close game. It's going to come down to 2 quarterbacks that have made mistakes before, in Jordan Love and Caleb Williams. Who makes one less mistake? .26 in run defense. Is that what you think it is? It's actually not 26 in run defense. It's 22nd in run defense, not 26th. So give them credit. 22nd in run defense, 5th in points allowed, 13th overall, 8th in pass defense. So Brock Purdy is going to pick apart the 8th best pass defense. Gotcha. How do you call yourself an Eagles fan saying we're getting thrashed? Go cheer for the exactly. Well, we think Pump Man is a closet Eagles fan. Pump Man is just he's always the negative guy in the chat. Whether it's the troll, whether it's seriousness, we don't know. But that's what we do. Magic mushrooms, no. Mushroom coffee. Mushroom coffee is phenomenal. It really, really does a lot of good. I'm a big believer in the mushroom coffee trend right now. Eagles beat San Fran, then beat the Rams. I don't think we would play the Rams. I don't think we could play the Rams till the championship game. How would that path play out? We would play the Bears. I don't know. I got to look at it all over again. Assault and battery. Same difference. No difference. No defense is pure. Look, the run defense of the Eagles is not elite. It's been better, but it's not elite. And I've been saying that on this show all year. And I said it 3 weeks ago that we'd struggle with Christian McCaffrey to an extent. But they are banged up beyond belief, the 49ers. Probably the least healthy team in the playoffs right now, the San Francisco 49ers, at least in the NFC. Yeah. Our defense since week 9 has been the best defense in football, statistically speaking. Since the bye week, the best defense in football all around has been the Eagles. Rams are the only team I worry about. We always play them close, and Stafford's probably going to win MVP. I worry about the Rams because even though we've had their number, Anthony, at some point, the having a team's number runs out, right? Eventually, that team builds up enough to finally get over. We got over the Tampa Bay Bucks hurdle this year, right? So I'd worry the Rams finally get over the hurdle of the Eagles. And they're a tough team. And we've squeaked out some tough wins against them. But, man, I would fear the Rams for sure. We went from like 20 in overall defense to 4. I mean, literally. Doesn't the narrative of the defense carrying the birds completely destroy your fantasy of Hurts being an elite quarterback? I mean, what about Hurts, though, Nina? Career high in touchdown passes, 2,000-yard receivers, and a tight end that caught 11 touchdowns, which is an NFL record or Eagles record, whatever it may be. Jalen Hurts has done more than enough. And being an elite quarterback, I stand firm on saying being an elite quarterback does not mean you have to throw for 5,000 yards. Doesn't mean you have to throw 40 touchdown passes. Being an elite quarterback is making the big plays when they matter most, having the it factor to lead your team, rally the troops, not make mistakes in key spots. There's so much more to being an elite quarterback than flashy stats. And yes, it hurts his stats aren't flashy. I get that. But he's still my quarterback, and he's still an elite quarterback in my mind. No, there's no weed in mushroom coffee, okay? Yeah, I haven't watched. I thought for a second I would turn it on just to see the walls break down, but I didn't. But I didn't do it, and I'm glad I didn't. He just woke up and saw Rondé Barber. Oh, man, interesting. We have a second-level linebacker core that is elite. They will limit the run game against the Niners. Whiners. You know, it sucks. It's fun and sucks. My brother, he's a Fugazi, but he's a 49ers fan for some random reason. The only Stiefel boy that isn't an Eagles fan. How it happened, I have no idea. He's only a fan when they're good. So we're going to do battle on Sunday, me and my brother, for sure. Absolutely. Stafford MVP, maybe has a good chance at it. It's going to be Stafford. It's going to be Drake May. It's not going to be unanimous, though. They're your two finalists, in my opinion, for MVP, Stafford and Drake May. Packers and Rams and Eagles have to win for us to face off against the Rams. Packers and Rams and Eagles. Okay. So the Rams lose the okay. Gotcha. It's so confusing to me. Like, my mind in the morning doesn't do math very well, and charts, like, it's hard for me to figure that out. I hope Lane Johnson, if Lane Johnson's 75, 80%, he's going to play, right? But, again, Nick Sirianni saying he's still got to step on the field to prove it. Like they said, yes, Nakobe Dean will play. But them saying, well, we'll have to see how he looks in practice to Lane Johnson leaves too much doubt in my mind. But I think he plays. Lane Johnson's going to tough it out. His leg could be falling off, and he'll tough it out for a playoff game. That's why he's one of the greats. $5 million isn't a star salary in today's NHL. I don't know who's making $5 million. Panthers beat Rams, and Packers beat Bears. We get Eagles back to Super Bowl easiest. Yeah, that would work. Panthers, man, I can't even believe the Panthers and Bryce Young is in the playoffs. I didn't think they were gonna. It just goes to show how bad the NFC South is, realistically speaking. Be consistent is usually a trait of an elite quarterback, and that's Jalen Hurts. Consistently really good on the field, great off the field. Yes, he's had bad his second halves. Is it all on him, though? Is it all on him? I don't know. Mina, look, I get it. You don't think Jalen Hurts is elite. You don't agree with me on that. And I respect that. You're not the first person to have this argument with me. But I go beyond the stats, okay? And the stats are not the most important thing to me, okay? It's wins and losses. It's track record. It's leadership. It's why I think Nick Sirianni is an amazing head coach. There might not be a better head coach quarterback combo in the playoffs right now than Hurts and Sirianni. Super Bowl MVP. I won't drop my mic. They're too expensive to drop, and I'm unemployed, even though I've got like 4 backups behind me. I am getting concerned with Lane Johnson. Like, I went from 0% concern, Nooms, to Nick Sirianni saying that and having like 3%. It's a big difference. Super Bowl MVP. Who? Hurts and Foles, right? Yeah, they're both Super Bowl MVPs. The good hair brother, yes. I don't know if he's good hair. I haven't seen him in like a couple months. Stafford gets it due to strength of schedule. Maybe. The Patriots definitely had a weaker schedule this year. Baldy did disclose that he doesn't believe. I did see that. Thank you for pulling that up. I'm going to write that down. I need that. I need that in my notes for other conversations. Baldy on Lane. And Baldy and Lane have a very close relationship. And when Baldy kind of hints at that, it kind of leads me to believe that maybe Lane Johnson doesn't play. And that's a concern. Absolutely a concern for the game. Being without one of the greatest right tackles in the history of football is a huge loss. It has been for the last couple of weeks, and it'd be a big loss in the playoffs for sure. I mean, Bryce Huff against, Fred Johnson. I can't even say that with a straight face. Come on. It's one thing to be a vet, but not having practice is also a big deal. Absolutely agree. Heavenly Cutter. I don't have any worries about the Eagles. I have seen enough this season to know exactly what we were about to get for the postseason. Jalen will attempt 27 passes a game and 7 rushes, all 10-plus point wins. Look, I'm confident, Heavenly Cut. I am. All they don't even need to score 30 points. This Eagles team can win this game 27-14. This Eagles team can win this game 21-14. I have the utmost faith in this Eagles team that the offense will do enough, not make any mistakes, and the defense will carry us. And that's okay. And if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, share. Muchas gracias. We greatly appreciate it. We're trying so close to get to 1,000 this week. Friday, Oregon versus Indiana. I will be rooting for Indiana, but I might be rooting for Oregon because my buddy Zane is an Oregon Ducks graduate, and he sent me coffee beans instead of grinds. So, yeah, I'll root for Oregon or Indiana in that one for that reason alone. I'm worried for the future of NFL coaching. Interesting, yeah. There were 3 drops in the half and a defensive pass that wasn't called. That 0-7. It is. There was only one bad pass that I watched Shane Half from the pinpoll, his breakdown of all those passes. There was only one bad pass in that whole thing. The other 6 all could have been completed. But there's other circumstances not on Hurts. Way too much Homer BS here. Enjoy your look. I get it. It sounds homerish. I get it. You don't like Jalen Hurts, and that's okay. All right? But what in the track record over the last 5 years Look at the big picture, not individual player stats. That's the big picture, okay? Great weak O-line is all you need. And look, we're going to be without Lane. They're going to be out without Trent Williams. Lane is going to limp his huge ass onto the field. But here's the thing. Here's the question. Does Lane Johnson need to limp onto the field? Can you win against the 49ers with Fred Johnson and then get Lane Johnson ready for next round? Throw it out there as an alternative option, right? It's a possibility. Good morning, Eagles fan. How you doing? Maybe. Who knows? Howie will figure out. Look, I don't have a problem with people not predicting an Eagles win. All right? I have a problem that think Jalen Hurts is a bad quarterback because he's not. There's reasons the Eagles could lose this game, Anthony. There absolutely is. It's not going to be because of Jalen Hurts. Howie will figure out how to pay them all. There's a lot of guys that got to get paid in the next 2 years, Robert. There's a lot of guys that got to get paid. It is going to be difficult. And there's no doubt about that. That's going to be difficult. 26 likes, only 2 new subscribers. We're up to 957 today. Guys, hit that like and subscribe button. Will should be at 49 yards, and Phil said he was good. I never said he was good. Never said he was good. I said he was one of the worst running back. I saw a stat somewhere. I don't remember where I saw. I don't know if it was last week or for the year. The worst running back in football with X amount of touches. Yeah, he must have only had 8 passing touchdowns. Not a career high. Injuries to O-line was the biggest problem. Absolutely agree with you. Get a healthy offensive line, the offense clicks differently. 27 likes. Keep those numbers going up. Nita didn't she crash out? Yeah, she did. She did crash out in an earlier show. Maybe. We might need the jumbo package to maintain a lead against the 49ers. Without Lane, it's harder to do. Terrible year for sacks. Only Hunt had over 5 with 6. Yeah, look, exactly. I agree. Problem. Gumdrop show with Phil. What? Eagles will beat the Niners. I agree. I miss Kenny G. Well, we know K-Wan always misses Kenny G. And K-Wan had a really good year in Pittsburgh, all things considered. He really did. It was a very successful year for him outside of Philly for the first time. No doubt about that right there, okay? Heavenly Cuts. I watched the 49ers all year, and they have been very fortunate. Purdy had 2 big wins versus a defense who couldn't hold waters in a steel tub. Other than that, the first game of the season. Go Birds. Look, I love it. And I do pay a little attention to the 49ers because my brother is a Fugazi 49ers fan, and I tell him that to his face all the time. He only cares about the 49ers when they're good. He's too busy at work when they're bad. So I pay attention to give him hell whenever I can. They're a good team. They are not a great team, the 49ers. The Eagles 100% can beat the 49ers. There's a slight chance they can lose it. Chat in the chat. What do we got on Philly Press Box Radio tonight? 7 p.m. live right here. NFL Films producer Bob Angelo and Philly sports writer associate Mike Shute tonight live. See 7 p.m. Bob Shute and Mike Shute and Bob Angelo live right here on this channel. Don't miss it. Philly Press Box Radio, guys. Don't miss it. AJ and Devontae both had over 1,000 yards. Impressive. 11 touchdown catches for Dallas Goedert, a record. Starting to think Eagles haven't been straight with us on Lane. It's very possible, okay? I think there was an injury that there was a slim chance he could come back from, but there was always the doubt that he couldn't. Good coaching mitigates O-line injuries. Won a Super Bowl, half an O-line starters out and patched with 2 bench guys. Look, good coaching can. So does that say that Jeff Stoutland is to blame a little bit? Maybe. Do you blame Jeff Stoutland for not figuring out how to fix Cam Jurgens, how to figure out Landon Dickerson's injuries to get Jordan Mailata some rest here and there? Just saying. Jeff Stoutland's this elite offensive line coach. And I agree he is. I know he is. But what did Jeff Stoutland do to fix some of the offensive line issues this year? My cousin calls me weekly with 49ers reports, so I constantly research them. He called me yesterday crying about the injuries and saying they're not ready for us. And I agree. If they had a fully healthy team, Fred Warner was back by now. If Trent Williams and Ricky Purcell were playing, it would be a much closer game. But it's not. It's not going to. James Cook's had a hell of a year. James Cook had a hell of a year. Absolutely agree with you on that. Niners have had a cupcake schedule, but can't even sleep on Kyle Shanahan. And look, Kyle Shanahan and Vic Fangio have a relationship as well. I think they've worked together in the past. There was a report that in 2017 or 18, when Shanahan took over, that Vic Fangio almost became his defensive coordinator with the 49ers. They know each other very well. They know each other's systems very well. It's going to be a great chess match between Fangio and Shanahan. Most mentioned Gainwell, what a player he is. Pittsburgh saw his ability, and Town shows he is much more than Eagles allowed. I would love to see Tank in Pittsburgh. I'm feeling pretty good about the Birds this week, thinking they'll win and cover the 4.5-point spread. I expect by the end of the week that 4.5. It started like 3.5. Now it's 4.5. I might expect it to get up to 5.5 or even 6. Honestly, Liz Frank is either a first, second, or third degree. If he's trying to come back from third degree without surgery, he is nuts. Yeah, look, they said it was going to be a slim chance that he came back, or not a slim. They were going to try their best to get him back on the field. But they said from the get-go they didn't know. They said from the get-go there was a chance that Lane Johnson wouldn't come back. They were trying their best to get it to happen. We'll see if it does. I hope it does. Will it? I don't know. We shall see, right? Anyway, guys, we're getting close. We're past the hour and a half mark, normally the end of the show. I'm getting ready to wrap this up in the next few minutes. So any final thoughts on today's topics and anything on the Phillies, Sixers, Flyers, get them out now. Can the Sixers bounce back tonight against the Wizards? They better. Kelly Oubre upgraded to questionable from out, which is a sign that Kelly Oubre is going to be back soon. Can't wait for the first Kelly Oubre back game. But yes, the Eagles offense can do enough. 39 poll votes today. Are you really concerned that the Eagles could lose because of just Kevin Patullo? Yes. 46% of the people. No. 54%. Big. Bigger, closer than I want it to be. Shocked it didn't go the other way. Tank might end up in Pittsburgh. I think we only have him for the season. I think we have him for one more year, actually, Duck. I'll have to double check that, but I think we've got Tank one more year. Thank you very much, Elephant in the Room. Surprised not more Philly. I tried to bring the Phillies for you into the conversation, Elephant, but nobody wanted to talk Phillies today. First it was 6 weeks, then it was 6 to 8. Yeah. Always go Birds and always bubbles up. I give you guys so much value on a regular basis. So much value on a regular basis. But I see when the numbers start to drop off on my side screen, when the views start to go down, it's time to wrap it up. It means that the show has got to be wrapped. I got to cut up clips. I put 15 shorts out there yesterday. Maybe too many. Maybe I got to find some good ones here today. I got some time. I got to keep timestamps now to get shorts. Anyway, we'll be back tomorrow. More talk. We'll recap last night's Sixers game. Maybe I'll even put the Sixers in the thumbnail a little bit tomorrow. See how much that hurts the algorithm. Yeah, you guys have been getting extended play every day when I'm around now. Okay. John McMullen insinuated that Lane is dealing with mental health. I mean, he always deals with mental health. Okay, it's not insinuating is just making shit up. First off, right? But Lane Johnson is a known person to have mental health issues. Okay, they don't just go away. Okay, they are something he's always dealing with and will always deal with for the rest of his life. Okay. Insinuating that that's why he's not playing right now, I think it's a bogus thing to say, or it's just something you can randomly say because you know he's always going to deal with it. John McMullen over on that Jacob Media, joking media channel that has Dan Sillyman on it. You know, I don't care for them when they're like that. Damn, that's going to be tough if Lane doesn't play. He said injury-wise, he's good. According to Brian Baldinger, who is a very close friend of Lane and still works out for Lane, he is still hurt and not fully healthy. That's what it is. Lane has been dealing with it for years. Yeah, he will deal with it for the rest of his life, just like I will, just like a lot of people will. Okay? Thank you very much. Always have a great day. Heavenly, I hope you tune in more frequently. You're new to the chat. I love it. Please like and subscribe, please, if you haven't already. I hope you tune in with the positivity every morning with me here. Jalen will go 21 to 27, 312, 3 touchdowns, 7. That's some bold numbers there. That's like a perfect outcome. If half that happens, we're good. Fred Johnson it is. Yeah, I mean, and look, Fred Johnson ain't no Lane Johnson, right? We all know that. Fred Johnson hasn't been bad, has he? He's not been great, but he's been okay. Gracias. Thank you. Muchas gracias. Appreciate that. We haven't seen Wilford Brimley lately. No, we have not. We haven't gotten our diabetes check-in in the chat. It's time for Lane to call it a career if mental health rumor true. Mental health has been a problem for him, Jonathan, since his early days in the league. Probably before that, okay? When he ran away and Big Dom had to chase him to Kansas or Texas or wherever he's from, all right? He's a big speaker. He has organizations and speaking gigs all the time about mental health. He's a big, big proponent of checking on teammates, just like A.J. Brown wears the shirts. Lane Johnson, this is not new. And if you didn't know that, I mean, I don't know how you didn't know that. Pissed off Nina with gumdrop. Oh, gotcha. With how banged up the Niners are, the Eagles should be able to beat them just off pure talent. Absolutely agree, Steve. Absolutely agree with you on that. It shouldn't be a challenge to beat them this week. But NFL, any given Sunday, right? Not for long. Also, no fun league. I'll end it on this. I saw somebody got fined last week. Forget which running back it was. Or maybe it was a defense. Someone got fined for giving a peace sign to a sideline as they were scoring a touchdown. And I thought it was so funny and so cool. Yeah, Deuces, I got you. And then he gets fined for it. It's kind of comical because the NFL is not National Football League. It's no fun league and not for long league. Mental health isn't what it's going to take him away from the game. It'll be the physical injuries. Absolutely agree. And the physical injuries may be catching up to him, okay? And he said he wanted to play 2 more years this year, next year. Maybe he calls the career. If the Eagles win the Super Bowl this year, he's definitely calling it, right? Eagles will beat the Niners. Absolutely agree. Just made it back to Dallas yesterday. I drove there for the game. Sunday, 700. Wow. So you live in Dallas. Okay. Get all those Dallas Eagles fans to subscribe to the channel. Get Cowboys fans to subscribe to the channel. I don't care. That's a long drive, bro. I could not do that. I struggled making the 8-hour drive to the Outer Banks this summer. I'm trying not to look ahead to possible scenarios, living in the moment now. Agreed, Soldier Steve. We briefly did it, but living in the now is the most important, okay? It's hard to read between the lines. It's hard to read between the lines. Comment number 400 on the day. Do you think us getting our ass beat in the first round gets Nick fired? No. Nick Sirianni is not getting fired at all. Zero chance. It would be the biggest shocker in ages in Philadelphia sports, but it will get Kevin Patullo fired if they lose this week. Cowboys do stink. All right. Muchas gracias. I appreciate that. Lane's physical injuries can play on his mental health issues. That's actually a great comment. Absolutely. If you want to come back from an injury and you're struggling to come back from that injury and you already struggle with mental health, the two things can absolutely compound on each other and make the mental health even harder or bigger of a problem. Absolutely. 100%. Okay? Mental health is still a serious issue in this country. It shouldn't be, but it is. And Lane Johnson struggles with it. And the injuries that have been piling up. I mean, not just before this current injury. He was in and out of games this year constantly trying to battle to stay healthy this year. It's mentally draining, for sure. You know how hard it is to be an Eagles fan here. They hate me here, and I don't care. Good job. I love it. I love you even more knowing that now, right? Look, I look at it with the pizza shop. I was tired of the pizza shop, right? I wanted to sell the pizza shop. But I also got a lot of injuries and ailments that bother me. I deal with mental health issues, okay? The days that my back hurt more, the days that my foot hurt more, Like, it was just harder and harder to get in there. It made it harder and harder to do my job. And it made my mind even more frustrated. I don't want to push through right now. It was Jarrett Verse that did that. I saw something. Someone got fined. I thought it was a running back or I didn't know. I saw it went like this to the sideline after a defensive touchdown and got fined for it. Hilarious. Vic's defensive play calling versus Shanahan's offensive play calling is going to be interesting to watch. I think it's going to be a fantastic story on Sunday, and I can't wait to see who jabs, who counter jabs, who throws the uppercut, who side. It's going to be a boxing match between two great minds. Josh Allen mid, but it had 25 passing touchdowns. Hurts had a lot more than 8 touchdown passes. He had 8 rushing touchdowns, 24 passing touchdowns. Just so you know. They just know that as long as Jerry Jones, it's always long live Jerry Jones in our show here. Long live Jerry Jones, right? With that, we got to wrap this baby up. I'm already at an hour and 40 minutes today, hour and 41 minutes. So, guys, back tomorrow, live, 8 a.m. As always, make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you're watching this on replay, thank you very much. Leave your comments on the show. I'd greatly appreciate it. Tell one, tell all. Eagles check down tonight. Philly Press Box Radio tonight at 7 p.m. Live. Guys, go Bird. Oh, one final comment. I'll get one more heavenly comment in here. You're absolutely correct. I'm 22 years Army veteran. Oh, man. Appreciate that. Thank you for your service. We got quite a few Army vets in this chat on the vert, or military vets in the chat regularly. Bosnia, Iraq, Afghanistan, pain management, mental health. Man. I'm glad you're getting the help you need. I hope you all well. My DMs on Twitter, Heavenly Cut, are always open, at Beard of Knowledge. If you ever need someone to talk to, ever, about sports or anything in life, find me on Twitter, at Beard A Knowledge. My DMs are always open, my man. I also think Coop is going to be able to contain CMC. That would be a great matchup as well. Guys, I got to wrap this up. An hour and 45 minutes, a long show. Long show. But anyway, everybody have a great day. We'll be back tomorrow, 8 a.m. Lots happening. As always, that's right. Love you, my man. I appreciate you and everybody and everything you do. You guys do your thing so I can do this thing here, right? Everybody have a great day. Go Birds. Forgot to say it. Go Birds. And always, bubbles up.